Hi, everybody. It's Chad Stewart here, and I'm going to do a series on the most common mistakes that I see students make in their animation. So let's take a look. Now, I've got Toon Boom Harmony open here, and I'm going to go through one of the most common mistakes that I see students make is to skip the rough pass. Now, in a lot of these new animation software, you get vector graphics, and it's great. You get this wonderful clean line, and then you can take the paint bucket and fill that in. You get a nice clean graphic line from the very beginning. And many times what I'll see is then students begin to work that way, where they will start off just right away drawing in a clean line here. Let me do this in black here. Drawing in this clean line, and they'll even maybe play around with some of the settings so that the everything is just matched up clean from the get-go. And they're more concerned about that clean line, about getting everything as clean as possible. I keep going back and forth. Now, when this happens, they've skipped ahead to a process we would call cleanup back in the old days at Disney. And this process of cleanup was done after we did the rough pass of animation. Now I'm going to do just a couple more frames here. And so here you can see I get a little bit of movement like this. Now, it's not the worst in the world, but if I were going to look at all of these drawings all at the same time, there's some problems with my construction of my animation, the pattern of the drawings. Let me create a new layer here and I can analyze that. If I look at all of the drawings, and I'm just going to quickly sketch out all of these drawings onto the same frame. Let me expose this here. Now, when we're animating, this is one of the things that we really want to be thinking of is what is the pattern that's created from all of my drawings? And they're all going to work together at the same time. And animation is really more about trying to keep that in mind. And that works much better when we're working in a rough form. So what I would do here is, let me create another drawing layer here, is to rethink through the pattern of the image. Now, on top of that, I've also got some problems with my consistency of the volume, of the size of the balls here. So I want to make sure that they're all very consistent in terms of the amount of mass that's going to happen. So if I squash and stretch something, that's going to change that mass, but it's not going to add or subtract, meaning that the ball is not going to get larger or smaller. And you can see here as I'm sort of sculpting this out, trying to keep that much more consistent. Now, by doing a rough pass like this, This creates a sketchy line, which I see a lot of students really trying to avoid, is they don't like that rough finish or unfinished feel. And so they go straight to what they see when they watch a show or watch a film, which is a clean line. Let me fill the empty cells here. Now, but by doing the rough drawings, it's nice if I could do them all on the same layer like this. Then I could go back in and do cleanup, but I've only got 6 frames here. So generally speaking, what I would see in the professional world is to go in and do a rough pass like this. First. Now, whether you're using a rig in Toon Boom or you're going to go back and draw each frame over again, this rough pass is really important. Now, there we go. Once I've done this rough pass, I'm going to turn off of all of these here. I'm going to turn this off. And now you can see I have animation, a pattern that's created that feels nice and well spaced. And the volumes are consistent. So now I can do a cleanup pass. I'm going to name this a cleanup. Now I can go in and do that nice clean line, and if I want to, I'm going to use the pencil because it's going to do a singular line here. It's a little thin. And then if I wanted to go in like this, nice cleanup pass over the rough drawing. And then I could go back in. And turn off that rough pass. And now I get a finished look. And I could go back into all of these. I can add effects. This is where I can go in and really make a nicer, cleaner image and use all these great tools to clean everything up and make it nice and smooth. It's actually not too bad. If I want to go through and really use all these great tools, I can do that. But I don't want to skip that rough pass because that really helps me create a better piece of animation. All right, now in our classes, I divide our assignments into part 1 and part 2. And this would be what I would expect in part 1, this rough animation. And then this would be what I would expect in part 2. All right, so there you go. And hopefully that is helpful to avoid some common student mistakes.